Hello and welcome to this Ferris State University women's basketball season preview. I'm the voice of the Bulldogs, Rob Bentley, joined by head coach Kurt Westendorp as the Bulldogs get set for another season. And coach, obviously some high expectations with a lot of returning talent here on your roster this season.
Yeah, we're ready to go. We got a lot of returning players that received some postseason recognition last year. You know, Mallory McCartney, Chloe Idoni, and Caden Blanchard. You know, that's kind of the core of our team coming back from last year, and they really carried us in that postseason, as well as Adrian Anderson and Zoe Anderson, pieces that we lost. But we've got a good foundation to build on, a good core group of young kids that are coming in, and we're really excited to see how it's going to mix together.
How did that end of last season really help fuel the momentum here in the offseason, winning the conference tournament championship and going to the NCAA tournament a year ago?
I think it's really big for our kids to just get a taste of it and know exactly what it feels like, and to know that when we get in those moments, we rose to that occasion. You know, when we needed to play our best basketball, we did. And, you know, anytime you get a taste of that tournament play and a taste of going up on ladders and cutting down nets, it makes you hungrier for more. So really looking forward to seeing that hunger show this first month of the season as we kind of find our footing as a team, but knowing what we're going to be capable of when March gets here.
What have you seen from your team here in the first couple weeks of practices here as you get ready for the season?
They're definitely a competitive bunch. You know, I feel like our depth this year is quite a bit better than it was last year, and you can see it in practices anytime you divide out our squads. You know, you never really have one team dominating another, which is nice to see. You know, but it's really going to be a team that comes together over this first month or two, because while we do have that strong core, we got a bunch of new pieces that are trying to fit in, find their way, find our chemistry, find what we're good at. You know, we've been bit by the injury bug a little bit, like a lot of teams have, so we're trying to kind of work our way through that right now as well, and just see what our identity is going to be, knowing that we have a lot of those foundational pieces, but it's not all going to get put together for the first month or two.
Obviously, with the new kids coming in and the returning talent, how have those two kind of mixed together and meshed together here during the preseason?
Well, luckily, those three returners that I talked about with Mallory, Chloe, and Caden, they're also our team captains, which we named them back in the spring. So they have done a great job of kind of bringing this team together. You know, it's a really tight-knit team that has really strong chemistry off the court, and they're kind of building that on the court, because we're going to have some new pieces that are going to be big-time contributors for us. You know, we have a transfer in Kenzie Bowers, who's a nice player, who's kind of finding her way with that group. You know, Deshauna Day is kind of a returning player for us that's really stepping up into a new, bigger role. And then a few freshmen that are kind of earning their way into that lineup. So it's nice to see them kind of click off the court and how it's kind of getting a little bit better on the court as we work through practices. You know, no coach is ever super happy in the month of October, early November with kind of where things are at, but we've definitely seen a big jump in just the last week of practice, which we need to see another big jump this week right now as we're getting ready to open next weekend.
Obviously, in terms of opening up the schedule, a couple regional games to start off and a tough non-conference schedule here before you get into GLIAC play.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of traveling, a lot of playing in region games. So we'll open up down at Ohio Dominican and Cedarville. You know, two teams that anytime you go on the road with, one's a new coach and the other it's a second-year coach with a lot of returning talent down at Cedarville. So we'll get tested right away early on. You know, we're playing those back-to-back days, and we'll see that'll really test our depth and see where we're at. You know, last year we opened up with a good, strong competition down with Walsh and Lake Erie, and it set us up really well. So, but we also have a lot of other non-conference games where we will travel to some teams in region that are going to be ranked really high. So we'll travel to Walsh eventually. We do get a good home game in that Northwood is coming to us as now a non-league opponent, but they're going to be very highly ranked in that league. You know, University of Indianapolis is coming our direction. So all in all, we have a lot of good, tough teams in region. Not a lot of big trips. We're going out of the state and out of the region for traveling all over the country. But the games that are going to position us best for the NCAA tournament are the teams that we're trying to play in the non-league.
Obviously, the non-league games help prepare you for the conference schedule, and the GLIAC has traditionally been one of the toughest leagues here in the country.
Definitely. I think Grand Valley's already ranked preseason #1, and they should be. They bring back a ton of talent. They're a really tough team to beat. You know, unfortunately for us, that's our very first game of conference play. I wish we played them a little bit later, but we'll be ready to go that very first game of conference play when we play GV. You know, and there's a lot of other teams that bring back some really good talent. Michigan Tech brings back a lot of players that are very strong, and they finished the year kind of on the upswing. I think you can look to Saginaw Valley. They bring back a lot of players that are kind of on the upswing. You know, I'm sure I'll be missing out a couple teams right there. I know Parkside brings back the player of the year and Alyssa Nelson. You know, the GLIAC every year just kind of reloads their talent. So it's every night it's going to be a battle.
Coach, thanks for the time. Best of luck as you get ready to start the season next week.
Thank you, Rob.
Reminder for all the coverage on Ferris State women's basketball, you can log on to ferrisstatebulldogs.com.